All right, here we go. We got 1, 2, 3 thunderstorms moving into the county of Dual right now. And as you see here, we're on this storm to our southwest, fairly elevated. But man, it's chucking the lightning bolts, that's for sure. Looks like there might be some hail back in there, as well as a torrential downpour. So we will be watching this one very closely. Now approaching the Bow City area. Boom! There goes the dynamite, right there. Approaching the Bow City area, and eventually into this area shortly. The other one also moving into the county on the south side, and then the other storm over here moving into the Pisano area. Oh boy, this is fun. Here we go, pretty strong thunderstorm moving into Brooks in the county of Newell. Plenty of lightning in here, and looks like there might be some hail, torrential downpours, and possibly some strong gusty winds. This is a doozy. Oh yeah. Lightning is going crazy in here, as well as the thunder. It is non-stop thunder. And I am enjoying this immensely right now. Very strong third. Woo! I'm just lost of words right now, I know. Stay tuned for updates. Storm moving in.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.
Good morning, Prince George, and good afternoon, Winnipeg, Manitoba. This is the Comedeorological Report. Meteorology. Comedy plus meteorology equals Comedeorology. I'm your host, Joey, only here in Wells, British Columbia. Yes, the show is airing on CFUR 88.7 FM in Prince George. Oh, well, let's see. It's on the 2nd of July. It's going to be airing. We're recording the show, however, on the 30th, on the Thursday night of June. So it's still June. Happy July. Radio listeners, I'm not there yet. This is weird time traveling stuff going on here. You're hearing, I'm talking to the future. So, future people, today is 1 year since the crazy fires of Lytton happened, and I have a list tonight of 25 extreme weather and crazy weather things that happened. We'll get to that in good time, but I do want to spend some time tonight talking back and reflecting back on what was one of a series of extreme things that happened in British Columbia last year. However, first, I have to talk to the cast and crew. Brandon Houck's on board waiting down there in Brooks, Alberta. He's the radio man from 105.7 FM Real Country Radio Station. And the star of the show himself, Frankie MacDonald out in Sidney, Nova Scotia. Frankie, the weather man. Frankie MacDonald, how you doing so far?
Frankie, the weather man. Frankie, the weather man. Who? Frankie. Who? Frankie.
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie!
Okay, so far it's cooler outside Sidney, Nova Scotia. Canada Day activities are taking place at Open Air Park tomorrow afternoon, evening, and it's going to fireworks going to take place at 10 p.m. tomorrow night at Open Air Park. You guys going to have a Crash Test Dummies concert at Open Air Park. And did you hear about that? Coco took Nunavut's getting a heat wave next week, and so is. And earlier this week they had Trosmo, Norway, and northern tip of Norway had a heat wave, 30 degrees Celsius. Places like in Germany, Italy, and all these places, they had a tennis ball size hail somewhere in Italy. It was really bad. They're bringing thunderstorms to New York City on Saturday in East Coast of the United States and America. It's going to bring chain lightning, very loud thunder, heavy downpours. In East Coast of the United States, it's been a lot of severe thunderstorms in Wisconsin, like Green Bay, Wisconsin, La Crosse, Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, all these places. It's cooler up in Vancouver, British Columbia. It's really, really rainy in Houston, Texas. Right now, it's going to bring chance of thunderstorms in coastal areas of Texas. It's been so much rain. There's a tropical disturbance that's just hitting Venezuela. As of right now, it's really bad. And up around Venezuela, it's going to head towards Costa Rica. They're bringing lots of rain all across. Colombia, Peru is getting drier. In northern Chile, it's really dry. Northern Brazil, it's a lot of rain right now. And it's going to bring lots of rain all across Bangkok, Thailand, and India is in the rainy season, bringing so much rain in India, Bangladesh, and all these countries. So right now, it's really bad there right now. Like countries like Bangladesh and all these places, including Pakistan. saying there's been lots of rain in eastern Pakistan lately, not across Philippines is bringing lots of rain. Indonesia's in the dry season right now. They're getting really cold temperatures. They're bringing so much rain to east coast of Australia. And South Africa is really warm right now. And they're bringing a lot of rain in Nigeria. There's a lot of tropical waves coming off the east west coast of Africa because sandstorms is not that active in Cairo, Egypt, Libya, Algeria, Morocco. That means the sandstorm is not kicking up because there's a sand traveling all the way off the west coast of Africa, Bermuda, high so strong Atlantic. Right now, Antarctica is 24-hour darkness, and up in the Arctic is 24-hour daylight. And I got news for you. And did you hear about that?
No.
They're bringing lots of thunderstorms in central Canada too.
What's the weather been like in Sydney, Nova Scotia, Frankie? How's things been so far? Have you had lots of hot weather there yet?
It has the warm weather today. Warm in the day, cold in the night. As of right now, it's cloudy. I'll put some clear breaks in the skies and things like this.
Has it been 20s or 30s?
It's been in early 20s to late teens.
Nice. So just real comfortable sort of weather, eh, Frankie?
Yes. And did you
What
hear
about-
about that? They're bringing lots of snow up in the mountains in New Zealand. As of right now, it's their winter. Their daylight's getting longer, our daylight's getting shorter. Because tomorrow's Canada Day.
Where are you going to go?
Canada.
Are you going to the fireworks, Frankie?
10 o'clock p.m. tomorrow night.
They should have you like on a stage or something, announcing the fireworks, announcing crash test dummies.
And guess what? Imogen was on Angie TV back on Tuesday. That means, Joy, you'll be interviewed by Angie TV before you know it. I'm talking about Angie TV. Angie TV wants to interview you. Angie TV lives in Montreal, East Island. He's a big fan of Tim Hortons and things like this. He loves Tim Hortons commercials. He does Tim Hortons advertisements on Angie TV YouTube channel.
Wow, a Tim Hortons super fan.
Angie TV has to interview you. He's from Montreal, East Island. He interviewed me on December 14, 2021. That's the guy to interview me on the internet on December 14, 2021. That's the guy to interview me.
That's my mother's birthday.
Frankie, I'm impressed by how much you are on top of the sandstorms in sub-Saharan Africa and Morocco. That is a serious extreme weather concern for the people that live there. I was in Morocco way back and experienced a little bit of a sandstorm, but that's serious weather. They it feels like you're in a sandblaster if you're not covered and you're outside.
And sometimes over in Chile, it's not as hot, but they have sandstorms there in northern Chile.
I didn't know that. I had no clue that sandstorms in northern Chile also. Dang.
Yeah,
Same with Australia Desert and Gobi Desert near Mongolia, China border.
That's Pete Galanko, who's just showing up a little late. He's not in his usual hometown right now.
I am in Pennsylvania, and I've just visited my grandmother. She's 90 years strong, pushing 91. And yes, and you never fail to impress me, Frankie. I had no clue there were sandstorms in South America at all.
There's also sandstorms on Mars, is there not, Frankie? Oh, I think his Wi-Fi at the A&W there in Nova Scotia has kind of gone. We've seemed to have lost. All I've got is a still framed image of his head there, and he's not moving or talking. I doubt that he's frozen solid because it didn't seem that cool there. So I'm guessing it's a Wi-Fi problem. I'm sure Frankie MacDonald will be back. He's been doing this thing lately where he just goes out for walks at night and he joins the show randomly from. It's the last month or so. It's been A&W in Sydney, Nova Scotia, and people happen to be at the drive-through sometimes and see him standing there and yell, "Hey, Frankie!"
Off the Peru-Chile border, it's lots of desert there. It's lots of sand there. It's a desert in Peru-Chile border in South America.
Also, sandstorms on Mars, is there not, Frankie? We got Noelle chaos entering the room
right now. So it's almost looked like a secret tunnel.
Yeah, excellent. So, Frankie, did you make any videos this week on YouTube?
I just did one for Houston, Texas. Chance of thunderstorms there. This is Frankie MacDonald, my own TV station live in Sidney, Nova Scotia. Heavy rain is headed towards Houston, Texas on Thursday, June 30th, 2022. It's going to bring up to 4 to 8 inches of rain or more. It's going to bring so much rain in Galveston, Texas and Corpus Christi, Texas. It's going to bring a lot of flooding going on. There'll be big waves crashing on beaches, shores. It'll be bringing so much rain in Houston, Texas, Galveston, Texas and Corpus Christi, Texas and surrounding areas. It's going to bring a lot of rain in Greater Houston. That's going to cause a lot of puddles in the streets. The sewers will back up in the streets. I recommend people have your medical kits, emergency kits, flashlights, candles, crank up radio, extra batteries, and bottled water ready as well, because it's going to bring so much rain in Houston, Texas, and the surrounding areas as well. I recommend people in Houston to be prepared. Make sure you have your rubber boots, raincoats, and rain suits ready. Make sure to have your smartphones and devices charged, and make sure you have your mobile internet ready as well, and cell phones charged as well. Make sure to order your pizzas and Chinese food, buy cases, especially buy cases. Thursday will not be a good day to head to the beach to go swimming. It's going to continue on to Friday, July 1st, 2022. It's going to bring so much rain to Greater Houston and surrounding areas. I want everyone in Houston to be prepared, because it's going to bring so much heavy rain in Houston, Galveston, Corpus Christi, Texas, and the surrounding areas. I want everyone in Houston, Texas, and the surrounding areas and places in Galveston, Texas, going to bring 4 to 8 inches of rain or more. That's a lot of rain in Houston, Texas. If you have anybody living in Houston, Texas, don't walk through the puddles. Avoid the puddles when you go for a walk. For living in Houston, Texas, for people living in Houston, Texas, I want everyone in Houston to be prepared, because it's going to bring so much rain to Greater Houston and surrounding areas as well, including Galveston, Texas, and the surrounding areas, because it's going to bring so much rain in Houston, and it's going to bring dangerous flood in Houston and surrounding areas as well. If you have anybody living in Houston, Texas, be prepared for heavy rain on Thursday, June 30th, 2022. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in heavy rain. Stay dry, be safe.
Yeah, how many YouTube followers you got now?
Still getting quite 279,000 subscribers.
279,000 subscribers. So you can go.
Guess what they're talking about? Banning TikTok from Google Store and Apple Store. They're just talking about that.
Boom! There goes the dynamite.
Interesting. I am literally about to move right next door to the Google headquarters in Boulder. There's 7 Google headquarters in the world. There's another one in California. There's one in Warsaw, Poland. But a lot of the Google employees are going to be living in my apartment complex. So I want to.
That's convenient. You can ask them anything.
Yeah, I'm going to get in there like swimwear, and I'm going to get them and learn the trade secrets and get the connections.
You're like, what's the biggest sandstorm ever on Mars? You can just pound the wall to the guy in the other apartment and be like, hey, what's the biggest sandstorm ever? And the Google guy be like, it happened in 2011.
Up in Mars, they don't have atmosphere up in Mars.
No.
They don't have oxygen up there.
That's true.
I'll have to talk to them and be like, is there a way to get Frankie MacDonald the first result when you Google weatherman?
That means up in Mars, they get so much sandstorms, but they don't have oxygen up there.
Number 1, Google Frankie MacDonald. We also had Noelle Chaos showing up from Vancouver down in the chat, so we will be talking to her. We got Galanko, who's in Pennsylvania. Frankie MacDonald, thank you very much for coming on the show this week.
And that means best of luck to you. I'm Frank Down. You're listening to Joey Only Show.
Right on. We'll be talking to Frankie throughout the episode. So, Brandon Houck.
Boom! There goes the dynamite.
Over there in Brooks, Alberta. You've had multiple days of thunderstorms. We had some good ones in BC on Tuesday, it was. I had an inkling to go chase. I didn't. I thought maybe I'll just wait for it to come to me. That's cheaper because the price of gas. And a storm did come. However, the severity of it was lacking by that time. Although some close lightning strikes, some very, very heavy rain. What do you think, Meowie? Is that weather? Whoa, I'm missing the lightning while I'm looking at kitties. Oh no, the lights went out. I did that. Oh, she's giving her though. Listen to this. Camera's looking at kitties and then missing lightning strikes. I hear that storm a rumbling. Oh, there's something. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Could be 12 again. That's a big, heavy, deep boom. Boom shakalaka. He's heating up. Yeah, it's good I'm not out there. If I was Mark Robinson, the storm hunter, I'd go stand out in that just, and then be like, hey, I'm standing in the rain right now. I'm hunting storms. What happens when you catch one? Well, you get wet. Sometimes get a hailstone in your ear. Boom! I don't have to hunt storms because they come right to me. That was close, man. That's less than a kilometer. That's at the lake somewhere. Holy. Next level anger. He's on fire. I'm Joey Only, not standing in the storm. Smart. I don't have to hunt storms. The storms come right to me. Today, ain't much of a storm compared to what some people saw, but I saw it. Mostly just rain now. Oh, flash! I'm a liar. I saw that one. Got the camera pointed the wrong way because I'm not a professional here. I'm not chasing storms. I'm not hunting. I'm not the storm hunter. There goes some lost tourists. This sucks. Why have I come here? Alright, there, lightning over there, but again, I got the camera pointed the wrong way. If lightning struck Josh's car, I'd have it covered. Come on, lightning, strike Josh's car. It's an electric car, so that'd probably supercharge it, help it out. Days upon days upon days, thunderstorms stacking up. Today was kind of an off day. Yesterday certainly was. But even for an off day, the Peace Country today's had severe thunderstorm watches, at least. I don't know what the status of those storms have been. So BC's been rocking. And through the weekend, there's some very, very deep low pressure going into the prairies. And it's you've been seeing some pretty good storms yourself, Mr. Brandon Houck.
Yes, some very, very, very good storms this week. Just recapping the end of last week there, we had a pretty nice rain on the Friday there. We had at least, I'd say, 5 to 10 millimeters of rain and gusty northerly wind, so that cooled the atmosphere down for the weekend. It was a very nice weekend. I was actually at the Brooks Smoke Wars emceeing and judging all of these ribs and pork and brisket, and oh my goodness. I was in a food coma on Sunday, but then by Monday, we came along. We started to crank up the heat again into the beginning of this week, and then as we go into Tuesday, we had our severe thunderstorm watch. We had a few pretty strong thunderstorms developing, especially in the county of Noelle here. We had actually a tornado watch get issued for the area, so that was quite exciting. We had this supercell develop in the Calgary area, kind of south near High River there, and it had some rotation on it as it moved in. It doesn't look like we did actually have a tornado. No, we did not have a tornado out of that storm, but there's definitely signs of rotation, and that storm kind of boosted off towards the north there. But we also had another weaker thunderstorm going through at the same time, and I believe there's one big lightning strike hitting the center of Brooks there and shook the whole town. Everybody was reporting to me that, we just had a thunder just rattled the house here. Yeah, so that was the situation on Tuesday. And then Wednesday.
Much like it was here on Tuesday when a couple close lightning strikes were the talk of town the next day.
Oh, yeah. So, Yeah, so that's when the tornado watch was issued too. So then everyone's looking at that storm and saying, "Oh no, what's going on? How can? Oh my goodness!" I'm like, "No, that's not a severe warning cell. That's just a bird fart little thunderstorm going by. The supercell's way over there, and it's missing us. So we missed out on that supercell. But you still got to see it from the distance. It was absolutely spectacular. Looking at it from the over Strathmore there, you can see the textbook anvil. You can see the crepuscular rays coming out of that thing. It was absolutely incredible. So that was the situation there on Tuesday. And then Wednesday.
Crepuscular rays.
That's right. It was just beaming coming out of that storm. Felt like I was in cloud nine that evening. So then we go into Wednesday, and this is when we had a potential for severe thunderstorms to erupt, and storms started to go at lunchtime. And I was supposed to, I did a whole morning of radio, and usually at lunchtime I take a bit of a break, but not on Wednesday. We had a severe thunderstorm warning get issued right around 11:51, and then that supercell worked its way right along the Trans-Canada Highway in the north side of Brooks, and it produced some very strong outflow winds. You can actually see dust get blown up off the distance there as that little supercell rolled down the north side of the Trans-Canada Highway through Rosemary and on the south side of Dutchess there, and on the north side of Brooks, and it dropped about toonie-sized hail. So a lot of flower beds got severely damaged from that storm as it then made its move towards CFB Suffield, and eventually it went off towards Saskatchewan. And we'll talk about the Saskatchewan story yesterday as well, because that was a wild day in Saskatchewan as those storms supercells worked their way across that province there.
I saw a tornado photo on Johanna Wagstaff's Twitter this morning.
Yes, there was more than one. I'll get to that in just a second.
How many photos?
How many photos?
How many tweets? How many tweets? How many tornadoes?
Well, for me, I had at least over 1,000 likes and retweets. So for one photo, I'll talk about that.
A lot of tornadoes.
And there's more than one tornado.
Did any of the tornadoes have a cow in them?
The one shot almost reminded me from Twister, actually. I'll get to that in just a second. So we had another severe storm move in later in the day. That also produced strong winds, but it went right over top of me. Hail core stayed to the south, so we had at least 6 millimeters of rain out of it. And man, that was a nice thunder rattling, shaking kind of storm. I was once again cloud nine yesterday afternoon. So today was actually very quiet compared to the last couple of days. So you've got nothing but severe clear here now. But now yesterday, the situation in Saskatchewan. Now we had a couple of fairly weak supercells develop in central parts of Saskatchewan. The dynamics were there. All the ingredients were there for potential for severe weather to break loose in Saskatchewan and parts of Manitoba, even though we had a very strong cap in southern Manitoba, which is a capping version. So let's say I just have this thing here. So you have this bottle of pop and you shake it around. I'm just going to explain cap here for just a second. And if you shake it enough, usually whenever you open that lid, things explode. And that's how our atmosphere works here in the prairies. But if you keep that lid closed, nothing happens. And that's the same deal with our atmosphere. That is also what cap is all about. So it's a capped inversion. So that's what we had in southern Manitoba. However, Saskatchewan, you did not have to worry about the cap. So we had enough cape. No cap. But we had cape instead. So that is the effective available potential energy for storms. So then you get your cape, and then you get your shear. You get your shear going at 50 knots, and you get rotating supercells that want to spin and do a little ring around the rosy here in southern Saskatchewan. And that's where things broke loose yesterday afternoon with tornadoes that developed, and not just one. Well, we had one very weird looking tornado at Waders, Saskatchewan. It looked like half a carrot, half a funnel cloud. I don't know what kind of tornado that was, but it was part land spout, part mesocyclonic tornado there. and that thing just spun around in the field there for a little bit, and that put on a bit of a show. And saw a couple of videos there from yesterday. I think there's this one video where this woman was walking, and she did not care about a thing. Not even this tornado was right behind her, and she just kept on going with her day. That was probably the greatest video I saw yesterday.
She was in a hurry to get home to mow her lawn.
Hurry to get home. And then another one, same system. We had another video. Someone was standing out there taping the tornado, and he's like, or she said, I don't know where this is going. I don't know what to do. And she's standing out there taping this tornado, and it's definitely coming towards her. So it's another wild video from Waiter, Saskatchewan.
So just for all you listeners out there in radio world who ever want to go and photograph a tornado, if it looks like the tornado is not moving, it's coming towards you.
That's right. If it's moving from left to right or right to left, then it's moving away from you. So, yeah, they got very lucky though. We did not hit the community. So, however, we had another tornado just an hour later. This one touched down near Foam Lake, Saskatchewan, and this one actually did some damage to some farmyards there and farm equipment, etc. So they're investigating that one today. And that tornado actually
foam all over the place.
I am surprised we didn't have anybody mowing in front of one of these tornadoes yesterday. They reminded me of that Three Hills tornado where I actually met that guy a couple of years ago.
It did have that stovepipe-ish sort of just bam, it's there kind of look to it, the one I saw.
Yes. So that was both of these tornadoes, kind of like stovepipe-ish look. The first one at the Waiters there, it definitely had a landspout look to it. The second one definitely had that classic kind of supercell sort of look to that tornado, the touchdown at Foam Lake there. But it did, as I said, it did do some damage. Luckily, nobody was hurt during that one. But that was also a very impressive beast of a tornado indeed. And then we had another tornado. This one was, I believe, right near this community called Govan there. Yeah, one other one near Govan. And then we had, now this is the best part here. We had not one, but two tornadoes in the same field near southeast Saskatchewan. So we had twin tornadoes yesterday in Saskatchewan. So that was our twister moment right there. We had sisters out in the field near southeast Saskatchewan yesterday afternoon. And that was a very powerful supercell that moved off towards kind of the southeast there eventually weakened, but incredible day for tornadoes in Saskatchewan. And then these storms eventually got off to Manitoba, and where the strong cap was, southern Manitoba missed out on all the whole show, even though they were in the fairly significant severe weather risk that day what day was that? Wednesday. I keep thinking today's
That was
Friday.
yesterday, Brendan.
Yesterday. So that was the severe weather in Saskatchewan, Alberta this weekend. Looks like we will, as we look into the longer range forecast here, Canada Day, looks like we get another round of severe weather in Alberta. So that's going to be fun. Hail, strong winds, and funnel clouds again. So we're going to be looking for the storms on Canada Day. Probably Mother Nature putting on its own show again for Canada Day, like it usually does in the province of Alberta. So that's
so many legendary thunderstorms have happened on Canada Day, of course.
Absolutely. And then as we go into next week, we have this another system coming into southern Alberta that could produce some significant rain on Monday with thunderstorms. So we'll be watching that very closely. And then later next week, I've also noticed the heat start to crank up later on next week. And that's also the beginning of the Calgary Stampede. And there's always a big storm around that time. And I have a feeling we might see some supercells later next week in Alberta. So get ready for the show. The real deal show. Big time.
Still yet to see the heat really consistently stay cranked in BC. We did have a bit of a hot spell there last weekend. Apparently, but it wasn't very long lasting. A year ago at this time, it was 50 degrees in some places, officially 49 point something in Lytton, British Columbia, before the town burned down. Just south of us in the United States, I've seen that in Washington State, there's been some pretty hot weather. It's not far away. it's just not making its way up to here. And I noticed we got this sort of high pressure blob really hugging the BC coastline right now. So what that's doing is it's funneling everything down from the northward towards us. So some of the storm activity today, I noticed its movement more or less was coming from directions you don't usually see it come from in this. I'm thinking that Friday, Saturday is still going to be pretty exciting in BC, maybe even Sunday. I don't know what the chance of severe is yet, but we did see some pretty severe storms this week already with significant hail and wind events and heavy burst precipitation that caused some mudslides. I think near Monty Lake there was one. Of course, those are areas that were scarred by forest fires last year, and now when they get heavy rains, the ground is not stable.
I heard there's 2 slides near Monty Lake. After the first one was cleaned up, I heard reports that there was a second one that happened yesterday and has now been cleaned up.
So BC looking still pretty wet next week. Yeah, that's the story.
Well, here it is, everybody. The Churchill Ball Diamond in its beautiful artificial glory. About a half hour away from first pitch to kick off the Canada Day tournament. I wish I could be joining you folks on the Comedeorological report tonight, but duty calls. So, speaking of the weather, as you can see, a beautiful, beautiful evening for ball. Do have these clouds along the horizon, which we will be keeping an eye on, because as of midnight today, tonight, tomorrow, however you define your midnight, we're going to be getting a nice deluge of rain, about I think somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 20 millimeters, maybe more. So, but that won't bother us today, but it may bother us tomorrow, because we are going to be playing rain or shine as well. So, we'll keep you posted on how we do. Back to you, Joey.
So yeah, last weekend we saw our first heat wave. It basically lasted throughout Have a Good Laugh Fest, which was a punk festival that I was doing door at and driving gear for. And yeah, we saw temperatures get into the low 30s for about 2 days. But yeah, as you said, it didn't last too long. It lasted, like, Thursday was in like the high 20s, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday were all topped out into the 30s. And it's been very nice, been very sunny, and it's kind of been our first real dose of summer. The weather has gone back down into the 20s, so we've been seeing more sort of regular temperatures for this time of the year. We've been seeing, like, I would say ranging from about 20 degrees to about 26 degrees this week. It's been dry, it's been sunny, it's been very nice out. I, however, caught COVID possibly at the festival, so I haven't been able to enjoy any of it. And my cat is tired of me being home all the time.
So you did not have a good laugh.
Oh, there were many jokes of this variety made. But yeah, so the weather has been very nice. It's been very sunny, but it's a nice temperature to, like, go out and enjoy, like, the sunshine in the summer, because it's nice out, but it's not too hot. And we're, I believe, expecting some rain over the weekend for Friday and Saturday. And I also have one observation based on some of the stuff that Brandon was talking about. When I was on tour earlier in June, when I was driving through southern Alberta, like towards Lethbridge and on, like, Highway 3 and, like, parts of, like, the southern portions of Highway 2, one of the things I really noticed is how strong the crosswinds can get there, because there's no mountains to block the winds. So that was definitely one thing I noticed, was the really strong crosswinds. And especially, I think it was the day either before or the day that the atmospheric river was forecasted to come through southern Alberta, that like right before the rain hit, you could just feel like I was driving out of Lethbridge and I could definitely feel like these gusts of wind just like pounding against the side of my car, like pretty much right before like the rain erupted.
If I may interrupt for a second, while driving through West Virginia today, I saw something very West Virginia-y where there was a Skeeter's, it reminded me what he said, mosquitoes. There's a Skeeter's auto body shop, and that just seemed like a perfect West Virginia name for an auto body shop. And I don't doubt the owner of it legal name is Skeeter.
Can you fix my car, Skeeter?
Yeah, just sounds classic West Virginia. I'll going over to Skeeter's to get my car fixed.
Do you remember the heat wave in British Columbia last year? What can you tell me about it?
I have good memories about this. It was so hot out in British Columbia. It was really, really dangerous heat wave. Temperatures up to 48 degrees Celsius and caused a lot of fires. Destroyed Lytton, British Columbia. Somebody, you started GoFundMe to raise money to rebuild that town.
Yeah, and I started one of my guys on my fire crew, Fred Brown. He lost his house. Several guys I worked with, family members who lost everything, because I worked with quite a few guys from Lytton and from Skeeton Reserves. So, yeah, it was definitely 1 year ago today that happened. I want to take a look at, on weather.com, an article called The 25 Strangest Weather Events. And at number 25 is smashed a national heat record, then burned down. And it says, if I had to rank all these oddities, what happened in southern British Columbia in late June 2021 might be the most bizarre. I don't know why it's at Lytton, British Columbia shattered Canada's all-time record high 3 days in a row. It was as hot as Death Valley, California on June 29th, 121 degrees Fahrenheit. Let that simmer for a moment. A Canadian city topped 120 degrees. That's something usually in the realm of Death Valley, Yuma, or Phoenix. The following day, a wildfire swept through the town, reducing 90% of the town to rubble. It was one of the jaw-dropping things we saw in the historic heat wave, which rewrote the record books from Western Canada to Northern California. But also some of the fire weather and some of the weather that came from the fires that was particularly insane. So almost all at the same sort of in around a 2 or 3 hour stretch in the afternoon. Lytton lit up. There were several fires that just exploded from heat in the sort of greater Kamloops, South Caribou regions. They created themselves pyrocumulonimbus thunderstorms, which rocked the South Caribou, like Green Lake and places like that. Those storms moved north, created a lot of fires themselves, dropped large hail, very violent storms. So when I think about that day, there's things that happened that day that were just so crazy to see on the radar and so crazy to see from the photos coming back of these weather phenomena, that it wasn't just heat and the town burning down. There was a lot of things happening that day. Brandon, do you have any thoughts on this?
As we're looking back here on the 29th of June there, Lytton, British Columbia actually did get up to 50 degrees Celsius. So that is the situation that caused the significant fire, how hot it was. All right. Now, we had a train, actually. This is what sparked this fire, was a train.
That's correct.
The fire as it was going by. And that's when 90% of the community got burnt down the next day after getting up to 50 degrees. So that's another wild scenario in Lytton, BC. And usually when you get these big fires, it always creates its own weather phenomenon as the pyrocumulus clouds and its own thunderstorms, etc. And these little thunderstorms tracked up into the Caribou, as you mentioned there. And that's what developed more lightning strikes and more. And some of these thunderstorms can be very dry thunderstorms, at least, because they don't hold a lot of precipitation because they're coming from fires. So that's another pretty big situation. It creates its own wind, creates some lightning strikes. And that's what you get typically when you get these big fires. And we had the same thing happen in the Fort McMurray fire back in 2016. Back in May there, when we had that major fire. It also created its own weather, own lightning strikes, etc. back at the beginning of May of 2016. So definitely not unusual. Looking back at that year, though, we had multiple records across BC, Alberta, and even in northern Saskatchewan. Like up in Uranium City, they even got up to 38 degrees. Looking back at this time last year and how different it is this year. And I did some analysis here in the Brooks area here because we had some record-breaking days that we had at least 3 days in a row of 37 degrees plus heat as well. And we also had that forest fire smoke roll in late in the summer there. And the month of June of 2021 in Brooks, we had at least 13 days with 30-degree plus heat and a couple of probably about 5 days with 35 plus heat. So that was the month of June last year. And we only had 19 millimeters of rain the entire month. So we were lacking rain, and that's why we ended up in drought conditions at the beginning of this year. Now, the change in this year compared to last year, so far, June 2022, Brooks has had 0 days of 30-degree heat. And so far this month, with all the rain, thunderstorms we've had, we have at least 107 millimeters of rainfall this month. And what a difference did that make? I could tell you, I don't think I've ever seen it so green out here before. It is just incredible. So what a difference. And that's the same scenario in British Columbia this year compared to last year with all the rain and the cool and the wet weather we've had. I don't think we even have a fire to talk about right now.
See the video version of the show if you want to see our beautiful faces on my YouTube channel, Joey Only, Caribou Weather Dude. There's always lots of new stuff up there. I just put up a video today about how BC is going to expect thunderstorms for the next bunch of days. We haven't spoken to Imogen yet, so maybe we'll come back. Oh, Brandon wants to say something while we're still on the topic.
Thing before I go, well, I'm not going, but before we go over to the next guest here. So actually, this weekend in Sunshine Village at Banff, they're actually skiing tomorrow and snowboarding. There's so much snow, they had about 900 centimeters of snow. So they're actually skiing and snowboarding on Canada Day in the summertime, which is actually bizarre.
Yes, while we're on the topic of fires, I found it, first off, Frankie, in his global weather report earlier, he mentioned that there was rain in Pakistan, which actually is good news. I have a friend out in Pakistan, and it was wild. They had a heat wave about a month and a half ago. Temperatures well over 100 Fahrenheit.
It lasted.
And there was a place, a city in Pakistan is Dadu. I guess it's pronounced Dadu or something like that. I'm not sure the exact pronunciation, but an entire village, a lot of it burned to the ground. And the wild part is I got photos and reports from my friend in Pakistan, but I saw news reports online about the heat wave, but no news reports about the fires of the huts in the villages there that it cost lives and livestock, including children, died in some of the fires there. So it's good news that there's rain in Pakistan, but it was just, it blew my mind that that type of thing can happen and not get any news coverage in, because I saw the photos and videos because my friend out there, he does humanitarian stuff. He went there and provided some food and stuff to the families there and showed me videos of the places that were burned. And he had suspicions of arson because it was a primarily Hindu area, and he thought maybe it could have been radical extremism, but I think it was just the heat wave that went on there. But anyway, just on the topic of fires, that was came to my mind when Frankie mentioned the rains in Pakistan, which is probably good for Pakistan right now.
I do want to come back
sometime earlier this month. Earlier in June, India had 1,000 millimeters of rain in 24 hours.
That's insane. I do want to come back to the topic, but Imogen's late joining us, so we do want to say hello to Imogen and ask about the weather in Victoria, British Columbia.
It's hot, bright, sunny, hot. We actually got some June-ness. I get that everyone else is getting January, but we have a couple days of actual June, so it's a refreshing change of pace. So being able to go outside and not be soaked and rained on and be pooped on by seagulls because they're scavenging for all sorts of random crap, it's kind of a nice change. So it's hot. That's what I can say. It's hot. Get wired on your supplements and hike while you can, because it's awesome and it's hot. That's all.
It is awesome.
Yeah, when I was driving to Lillooet, like earlier in June, and I was like driving down the highway one and like to the junction for Highway 12 where you go through Lytton, and I was gonna point out like how it doesn't look like a whole lot has been done there other than they put up a fence. Because I know like driving past there, you could see like the shells of like burnt out buildings and people's burned down houses, and the fact the town is just gone and it's just burnt down, and there's just like these shells of like ash and burnt down buildings, and it looks like the town has just been left like that. And also like driving further down, like once I got on Highway 12, like some of the spots where it flooded from like the floods last year, you can see where it looks like they just pushed the mud to the side of the road, and there's still like bits of like damage and stuff that looks like it hasn't been repaired either. So it's just, I mean, it sucks, and it's sad for like the people who live in those communities, because I mean, like if like the communities aren't getting fixed up, what are we doing about the people as well? But also, yeah, I know those were just like some observations, like driving through those places, and the differences in like the weather, like between this year and last year, and like the conditions that like led to those storms. And also, who does train work beside a grass field when it's 50 degrees out?
When you see human caused for wildfire, you always think of like somebody left the campsite. You know, somebody was eating marshmallows and left their campsite just burning ignorantly and walked away. And now Smokey the Bear is sad because there's a fire. But actually, most of the time, a human caused forest fire is nothing of the sort. Trains being a large cause of wildfires, especially because they go through all kinds of terrain and often away from where people can easily action a fire. Some of the large California wildfires were caused by the electrical grid itself, by power lines.
Damn. Okay, so so we can't give full credit to smokers. A little bit of credit, but not as much as we like to.
And I do plan on doing some amateur fireworks for July 4th, but I will do it safely on the beach, near the water, near nothing that can catch on fire.
You have 3 days of thunderstorms coming to Wells, British Columbia, and the Caribou. We will be getting our own Canada Day light show, with or without any.
I'm happy my car didn't catch fire on tour.
I like you intact, not burned.
Yep. Hey,
Yeah.
Joey, I remember another podcast Imogen was on Tuesday nights, Angie TV.
That's right, Frankie. Frankie and I were on Angelo's show. We had some trolls.
Trolls?
We always have trolls. It's awesome. I love trolls.
What kind of trolls?
Well, bridge dwellers, naturally. Occasionally coming out to munch on the odd goat. It's got to be an odd goat, otherwise they don't want it.
What do you do, Frankie, when you have these trolls?
I ignore trolls. Don't talk to trolls. Don't feed the trolls. I ignore trolls, haters, and negative people online.
Don't feed the trolls. Frankie MacDonald. Well said.
Cardinal rule: don't feed the trolls.
This
There's
is
a
the
song
comedian.
about, like Frankie, called "Shake Them Haters Off" by Gucci Mane. Shake them haters off. I'll shake them haters off.
I just
More
want
of
to
those
try.
trolls. Speaking of trolls,
There's
I
some
felt
odd
like
people out there. That there's some of those guys in UK will say, "Frankie, answer your question now."
Yeah, you don't take orders.
Frankie does not take kindly to pressure. That is for sure. Frankie does what he wants when he wants.
Frankie is a free man.
Yeah.
That's right.
I like it. That's how I like my Frankie.
Free range?
Free range Frankie.
Damn right. That's what makes him special.
The other type of trolls reminds me of toll trolls, which what I felt like when I took my old MacBooks to a traded third-party Apple store thing the other day. The guy there, I felt like I was talking to a toll troll. He was like, only $100 for these and $1,000 to get them fixed. He was a real nice guy and he was just doing his job, but I felt like I was talking to a toll troll out of like a cartoon or something.
What other events made the list of top 25 strange weather events? To give you some, you've been listening to the Comedeorological Report on CFUR 88.7 FM and CKUW 95.9 FM. I'm Joey Only here in the Caribou, British Columbia area. And we've been on the topic of fire, so I thought I'd share this one first. The EF3 fire NATO of July 26, 2018. The Carr fire in Redding, California. It was a fire that damaged 1,600 structures and was one of the largest wildfires in California history. One of the jaw-dropping things that happened was a tornado-like vortex generated at the leading edge of the fire. It uprooted trees, crumpled high-tension electricity tires, debarked trees, damaged homes that weren't otherwise burned. The National Weather Service's damage survey estimated winds of at least 143 miles per hour in the fire whirl, equivalent to an EF3 tornado. November 2018 study found the vortex extended up to 17,000 feet above ground. California only had 2 previous EF3 tornadoes in record since 1950, both of which were in Southern California in the 1970s. So imagine that, a tornado made of fire capable of flattening and burning your house.
I mean, it's pretty awesome. I'm just having technical difficulties over here, or else I would have been, cheering.
Well, I'm just glad you're not upside down no more.
I can't figure it out. I got 2 cameras. I'm switching between them. The better one is the one I want to be using, but it keeps flipping the screen upside down. So I'm with this weird wide angle one that I don't want to be using.
Okay, we'll try the upside down one just for a bit. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. That's what y'all need.
There we go.
Now I'm upside down again. This is
Upside down.
How do you fix this? Why is it like this? It was not like this morning or last night.
Don't
Is
fix
there
it.
anything
It's the
that
best
says you
thing
can
I've seen all
rotate
week.
or anything?
I looked in the
You're
settings.
stuck in a gravity vortex.
Yeah, you know what? Here, I turned the actual camera itself up. It's not going to work. Y'all don't need that enough stuff on me. That's just too much.
It's like you're in a fire NATO, flipping around.
Yeah, this is disorienting. I don't like it when gravity works this way. What the hell? If someone could walk me through fixing this, I'd be very happy. I don't need to be upside down. It's weird.
That's amazing.
Upside down. Oh no, that doesn't work.
Brandon's just doing cartwheels. Our ginger Jack.
He can't be upside. Brandon can't go upside down. He tried. You could always try standing on your head, Brandon.
I can't even do a somersault. It's so bad.
You're watching the Comedeorological Report. I'm your host, Joey Only, upside down in my house on my table. And there's 3 kids in my house, and they're not looking right now, so this is awesome.
They're getting away with something.
So
Awesome.
Imogen, I know what happened.
Oh,
You
Chippy,
got
when
stuck in the upside
when
down.
Imogen talks, she's right side up now.
You're really upside down. I don't even know how that's
Try it.
Hi.
I guess that joke's only funny if you've watched Stranger Things.
Now the rest of you are upside down, but Imogen's correct.
This is how the world.
How's your hat still?
Frankie, can you do a cartwheel?
Hats fit my head perfect because I have a really large head.
Really hard to do a cartwheel. That would be a cool video though if you could nail it.
Yeah.
Can you try going upside down somehow, Frankie?
Join us upside down.
Yeah, come on. What's wrong with you guys? Have some
I
fun.
can't do it. I can't do it.
Make my head disappear. There you go.
Wait. There we go.
All right. Woo!
I just got on the table and like looked downwards. This is,
It's coming around to my reality. This is awesome.
this is just, my daughter like just
There we go.
walked
Now
by.
half of us are on the same.
My daughter just walked by. I'm on the table, upside down, looking at my computer.
Doing
She
some
says
weird
nothing.
yoga. You're
Just
doing
keeps-
cat yoga.
Just keeps walking. It's weird, she says. Well, that made my day. Now, Pete's trying. Well, that's just about the time we have for the show this week. Frankie, how does everyone in the world find you on the world of internet? Right side up or upside down?
My Twitter is at Frankie McD. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Instagram is Frankie MacD1984. My TikTok is Frankie Down1984. My Clapper is Frankie Down1984. My Twitch is Frankie MacDown1984. My Snapchat is Frankie MACDON. And my LinkedIn is Frankie MacDonald. And my YouTube channel is Dogs and Wolves.
And what's the sale on burgers right now? Can you see the sign outside?
There's A&W and things like this. If you want to purchase Frankie's t-shirts, go to frankiestore.ca.
Oh, you don't have one of those big A&W signs like we have in Quesnel. Both of ours have big signs out front, billboards that say right now the Nashville chicken sandwich is back.
What makes
Joey,
it
I went to your favorite restaurant today in Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania, and I used my app to get $5 for a Big Mac, medium fries, and medium drink with the coupon code at McDonald's.
You're gonna live a short life, my friend.
It'll be glorious.
But as long as
I
you're
need my calories. My health stuff is different than a lot of other people. I should avoid saturated fats and other stuff, but I need more caloric intake and more carbohydrates with my health issues than most people do, just to keep my weight normal.
now you better buy Imogen's line of milkshakes there that she's got with protein powder and all this, and it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah,
actually.
I seriously might. I drink a lot of Ensure protein drinks, but it is better to use the powder form and do a blend, and then you can add other stuff to it. There's all sorts of other things you can add to stuff like that. And Imogen, another time, I'd like to talk to you because I have researched a zillion supplements and other types of things. So there might be some cool stuff. And I've worked with I've advertised for a different company that does that type of stuff that was a veteran owned.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you laughed and learned a little bit about the weather, how crazy it can be. It can be pretty crazy. There's probably 23 other things on that list that I didn't really get to this week that were pretty crazy. And I guess we'll just have to wait till next week. So much for my top 25 crazy weather things. It was Joey's list of 2 weather things that we're going to talk about this episode. That's what you got. Okay, see you next time. Bye now.
Bye.
We got 3 minutes left, technically.
Yes.
God damn it. Thanks, Pete.